And we are officially live in the flesh with Mr. Jacob's Points and Profits. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I'm glad. I actually just realized we dressed up similarly for the occasion here. It's good. You got the
With
black and
both in the
black.
black shirt.
Right, right. Awesome. So we'll see who comes in here. I know we're stepping on Big Daddy's toes right now. Mr. Stan, the Credit Frog's going ham.
Oh
Uh,
no, is he still going?
yeah. So hopefully we'll have some good people in here today. But we already do. We got Fanta. What's going on, man? We got Lonnie. What's popping? Jacob, who's actually here in the flesh. Joe Barreto, what's going on, man? Richie, what's popping? Awesome. We got some cool stuff today. Some very interesting stuff from the guy in front of me. And for those of you who don't know, it should be shown in the pinned comment. I don't know how it works now that I'm using StreamYard, but it should show Jacob's channel in the pinned comment. But for those of you unaware, this is his main channel where he's talking, strictly about credit cards, strategies, and uses them for, a lot of travels that he uses in other ways that we'll talk about very, very soon. And we got the amazing Dollar Man. What's popping? Tariq, yo, what's going on? And Lonnie said, I'm not going to lie. I've been waiting for the Jacob AV live. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, because you and so Lonnie and Jacob, you guys pretty much hit 1,000 right around the same time. Remember, it was like neck and neck around then. So that's
Yeah, I was trying to race Lonnie. I didn't really tell him I was racing him, but he ended up beating me to 1,000, which was sad. So I was like, I'm just not going to talk about it.
Damn. And now we got to race the 2 and then so on and so forth. That's amazing. So what I wanted to say, or what I wanted to kind of get into with you is you are one of the most impressive people upon doing more research and watching some of your stuff. And it doesn't seem that way right on the surface. So I did a lot of research this morning, finding out that you have other channels, that you've been to like 1 million different countries, you've done all these different things. So just this main channel that you're on, here is just scratching the surface essentially of what you have. And I'm just going to go through for everybody the countries that I could see that Jacob's been to. And this is a long list. All right, you ready? We got Norway, Iceland, Singapore, Africa, Finland, Korea, Poland, Denmark, Thailand, Taiwan, Vietnam, Japan, Germany, France, Belgium, Romania, Italy, Portugal, Costa Rica, hold on, I'm almost done, Bahamas, Dominican Republic, and America. And that's just what I could see from your other channel that you have going on. So I just wanted to ask you, because that's an insane portfolio of places that you've been to. How did you get into all this? How did everything start with not only credit cards, traveling, just how did everything that you've done so far get started?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and yeah, that list is 35 countries long now, and we're gonna keep going. Just travel with my wife now, but as far as the backstory on all of this, yeah, I mean I started out just kind of normal with credit cards. I think I was around like 19 or 20 when I got my first one. I just went with I banked with a credit union, and so I just walked in there. I knew that I was supposed to sign up for a credit card to build my credit score, and I didn't really know anything about that. So I just asked the banker. I was like, well, I want a credit card. How does that work? And then basically just signed me up for the worst credit card they had, $0 annual fee, and earned no rewards. And I was totally fine with that because I didn't know any different, and I knew that I was building my credit. And that's kind of how it all started. And that was about like 5 years ago, and then after like a year, I kept applying for more no annual fee cards. I'm like, oh, this one give me 2% cash back on everything, so I got to get this one. And this, I was like, oh, there's a 3% card on groceries. I got to get that one. So I wasn't really playing like the travel points game at all. And but then after I got married, this was almost 5 years now. Got married, and I found out that my wife loved traveling, and I like traveling for sure, and I definitely did back then, but she loved it way more than I did at the time, and so I wanted to figure out a way to where we could travel more often. And so it did start signing up for some credit cards, but in our mind we were thinking, we both had full-time jobs, and we were thinking it might be a good time to quit. We both wanted to quit at the same time. And we were like, this is our once in a lifetime opportunity where we both don't really love our jobs, and maybe we can just go travel around the world for a few months, and then we can come back. And then COVID hit, and
Oh.
and so then we had to delay our trip. We had to delay quitting our jobs, which actually worked out in our favor because, I mean, you can go back and look at our other like travel channel. We documented this whole thing where we saved up $50,000. Oh, there we go. We saved up $50,000, and those videos are a little bit embarrassing. I may have like cried once or twice in them because we were selling everything we owned on Facebook Marketplace, and like leading up to us like quitting our jobs and leaving to travel the world. And so we sold everything in our apartment, got rid of it, and then we took off with the very small amount of miles and points that we had and $50,000 in the bank. And like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna become successful YouTubers, and it's just gonna work out. And then it didn't work out, and we spent all of our money in like very quickly because we didn't have travel points, and so we just and so then we found out that we really needed the credit cards to get us going. And it was at a point where, we've moved so many different times. Like we're in an apartment right now just because we felt like this was the best place for us. And so we are just traveling on miles and points now after draining all that money and realizing that we're not really the successful YouTubers that we wanted to be, but maybe in the future we'll get there, and miles and points are helping us travel and keep making YouTube videos and keeping us self-employed. And so we're happy where we are right now.
Gotcha. Now that's crazy. So I didn't even know to that extent to kind of make a move, and I can smile about it with you because I've seen the channels and I know the types of views you're doing, so I know the money's not horrible. So I think you guys are doing probably okay. I'm just guessing, but no, that's pretty insane, man. Wow, to just have the thought. So I guess how old were you guys at the time when you decided to quit your job, if you want to say?
All right, so let's see. We got married when we were 21, and then we were married for about 2 years. And then we started taking our first like big international trips, but we hadn't quit our jobs yet. We quit about like 6 months after that. So I guess we were still like 23 then.
Wow.
Does that sound right? 24 probably.
23 or 24. So you both had built up $50,000 in savings. And what was that? So what was that idea like to decide to, okay, we've built up this money from saving, for so many years. And to have that thought to be like, okay, you know what? Let's not live the life like everyone, probably told us to do, and work the corporate world and keep moving, keep building up the savings for eventual, travels, eventual stuff like that. What was that conversation like between you two, where you were fully going to decide, like, okay, we're going to quit same time, and then we're going to travel? What did that feel like that initially to get it started?
It just every so often, like every couple weeks or so, one of us would mention to the other person, like, hey, like maybe we should actually consider this whole quitting our jobs thing and traveling. And I was the pessimist. I was like, it's not gonna work. We're just gonna spend all of our money, and then we're gonna have to come back and get jobs again. Like that doesn't like sound that fun to drain our bank account and all that. Yeah. But what really convinced me was the potential opportunity to document all of our travels on YouTube and hopefully get paid well from that, from people just watching our videos. I mean, and so I was like, well, if I can turn this into a business, then I think that I'm willing to spend the money and travel the world, because it's going to be a fun experience no matter what. If we completely fail and we get 0 subscribers on YouTube, it's still going to be a fun experience. So it was scary. We were so nervous to start it out, but it was one of the best things that we did. So yeah, it was great.
That is so crazy. And I just wanted to give some shout outs to some people. We got the super chats, because I'm really engaged right now in this story. But Xavier, $10 super chat. He said, let's go. Jacob's channel is great. look at that. We got some people loving you out there, man. It's great. So thank you, Xavier, for that. I really appreciate that. John R, smash like and subscribe, folks. Let's go. Yes, subscribe to Jacob. Should still be in the pinned comment for sure. Thank you, sir. And then, hey, what's going on, Angela? Jazzy, I like to call you Jazzy. $3 super sticker. Appreciate you as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Wow, right out of the gate too. You guys are crazy. Thank you so much again, Xavier, John, Jazzy. Appreciate you. Okay, so yes, so I guess now having gone through it, you feel like this was, at least you have a lot of memories, and it's going to be an amazing experience, nonetheless. And probably you thought that when you first started, and now in retrospect, now that you've gone through it, you can say that. But what did it feel like when, like, that first day, that first day where you guys like just quit, and you were like, okay, we actually have to do this? Like, you were the pessimist, so were you guys butting heads at all, or was this a time where you were just like extremely nervous? Because I know for me, I would be like very, very on edge. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, there's no money coming in. What am I supposed to do? Did you have those feelings too?
Yeah, I mean, like, luckily for us, it kind of was a slow roll into this because we had been planning to quit our jobs for like the past, 6 months, a year, whatever it was, like, because we were just waiting. We're like, okay, well, eventually we're going to be able to internationally travel again. During 2020, we're like, this can't last forever. Eventually I'm going to be able to get on a plane and go somewhere. And so, yeah, we were like, do we actually want to do this? And we had a lot of time before we actually had to quit our jobs. And then when we finally quit our jobs, we were like, oh man, like, this is real. And it was very emotional when we did that. Like, we just sat there, like, I called up my boss because we were working remote, and I was just like, I'm quitting. And then after the phone call, it was like, oh wow, we actually did this. Like, it's time to go travel now. We've been waiting for this, and let's just do it. So
man, that is so wild. And I getting ready for this, I ended up finding that video. So you did a video. I can't put it on the screen because I don't have it, but you did a video talking about, like, literally the day that you did quit, and you filmed why, and then in between you're like, okay, I just did it. Like, literally just, like, I guess you did the phone call that you're talking about, and then you could see it on your face where you're like almost unsure, but also like at peace with the decision as well, and almost like a sense of relief a little bit, and then all of your your plans to kind of going forward. So I think that's really powerful that not only did you plan it, do it, but then also film it that you can look back on. That was, I guess, 3 years ago now. So that is so crazy. Wow. And so I guess what was the time difference when you first, okay, now you have this feeling like, wow, we actually did it, now we have to go do it. What was your kind of plan of action, like, I guess, in the weeks following that, where you're like, okay, we're going to hit this country, or we're going to do this type of thing? Did you have that kind of plan?
Yeah, so it's never, yeah, okay, so we'll start off by the travel plans. We had already booked, like, everything that we were going to do before we quit. And so we ended up going to Finland, and then Germany, and then we went to France, Luxembourg, and Belgium. That was, like, the first one. We were like, okay, we're just gonna go to Finland. Like, my wife Jenny, she, like, always wanted to go up and, like, north of the Arctic Circle, and so like, we're just gonna do that as our first like big thing. And so, yeah, like, we already had everything booked. We had already been selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. We had told our apartment complex, we're not coming back, we're not re-signing. And so, yeah, I guess it was kind of like I mean, like, we don't have that much here, even if I don't quit my job. So it's like, well, let's just do it.
Yeah, it really does seem like such a well thought out, plan, which you would hope for a decision that big, right? Of course. But that's crazy that you already had everything pre-booked. And how did you end up booking all that? Because you said, I guess, maybe the points of miles weren't as strong as they are now, or was all of that, the hotels, the planes, like, what that look like?
Yeah, so I was late to the credit cards. I was late to the miles and points. We didn't have lounge access. We
Hmm.
didn't have very many Chase Ultimate Rewards points. We didn't have anything like that. I think we just had a bunch of no annual fee cards, and that was pretty much it. We didn't even have a Sapphire Preferred, and
Hmm.
and so we were very naive to how good credit cards could be because I grew up and my parents had like one credit card that
Hmm.
they used, and they talked about like how credit cards are can be dangerous if you don't do it correctly. And of course, I listened to a bunch of Dave Ramsey when I was a teenager, and I'm like, okay, well, credit cards are bad. They might even be evil. I don't want to stay away from them. But then,
Right.
of course, like 19, 20, 21 years old, I'm like, okay, they're not actually bad. And so I'm like, okay, let's get this started. Um, and so, yeah, we went to Europe, and we didn't have any annual fee cards that can give us any sort of good benefits. We didn't.
Damn.
I think we booked all of that in dollars, not points. And
Oh.
even like multiple trips, like after that, even like going to Europe, coming back to see family, going out again, still using all of our $50,000 we saved up, and that's why we burned through it so quickly because
Yeah.
traveling's expensive if you don't have credit card points.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how long do you think it took? At least how many years of traveling did you do before like the money kind of was almost running out? I guess.
It
Do you
was
think?
so quick. It was way faster than we expected. Well, okay,
Hmm.
so at first we were planning to burn it all on like this huge, like 6 month, year long trip, and then we
Oh.
thought about it and we're like, well, actually, maybe we should like strategize this a little bit better so the money lasts longer, and then we can keep traveling and keep coming back to the U.S. so that we can maybe make this thing last a little bit longer because.
Yeah.
Uh, right at the beginning, and we were like, okay, we're not the successful YouTubers we thought we would be. We don't have 100,000 subscribers yet. We're not making $1 million a year.
Right.
So we're like, okay, let's try to rethink this. And then I think it was actually like when we kept coming back to the U.S. on those really long haul
Hmm.
economy flights, sitting in the back row, and like we were just like, there has to be a better way. I think so. It was actually the coming going and coming back to the U.S. A bunch of times. I was like, I don't want to sit 12 hours in economy again. How can we figure out
Hmm.
and maybe fly business class one time or two times? I don't even know. Like, let's just get credit card points and do this.
And okay, so if this was all, and I can definitely, I can imagine for sure. But so I guess during all of this, like you said, you're paying in cash for most of it, for these years. Um, what were your ways of mitigating costs on lodging? Like, were you booking like little small, I don't even know what do you call them, hostels over there? I don't really know. I've never been abroad, so I don't know. But what are ways that you were able to like stretch that money as much as possible, just like booking cheap places and whatnot?
Yeah, so you did a video recently on your channel about how you used your Sapphire Preferred $50 hotel credit,
Hell
and
yeah.
you're like, "This place is disgusting." Like, oh man, I. And then you even had a point in there about how like you wouldn't want to take your wife to
Hmm.
these like sort of low end places, and like you want to go to the really nice Hyatts and Hiltons and things like that.
Yeah.
But those were the kind of places we were staying in. We were
Hmm.
staying in those kind of places when we were traveling around the world and in Europe
Wow.
and Asia. We're going on booking.com and we are
Hmm.
finding the absolute cheapest thing that we can find. And of course it didn't, if it looked extremely sketchy, we're like, okay, maybe not that one. Maybe
Right.
not that one. But yeah, we were booking the cheapest things we could find, like because we just didn't have any points, and we're like, we have to book this like $40 a night room because that's the money that we have in our bank account, and it worked out.
Yeah.
I'm very happy like we did that because it gave us some perspective on,
Hmm.
well, I mean, like even if we book the absolute cheapest thing we can find on points, like an IHG or a Category One Hyatt, something like that, like
Hmm.
that is more than enough for us now.
Right.
That is so incredible that we even get to stay at a Category One Hyatt. So we're loving that experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. That makes a ton of sense, and it's one of those. I remember when I was on the. I mention this every now and again, but when I was on the BS podcast with Sean Lane and Sherwin, it was kind of there was a conversation about, okay, getting the, like Sean loves the absolute highest level of redemptions you could possibly do, and staying at the nicest hotels that you've ever been to, and I kind of related to like what you're talking about and just growing up, staying in these types of places, right, and just going on vacations and whatnot. So I almost always wondered, I was like, obviously there's a middle ground to everything, but what would some one person value versus another? Like maybe I want to do 3 years of travels like you did, and if this were all on points, and stretch those points out for 3 years at these cheaper places, but you get to see more and more crazy things, or like maybe that initial plan you guys had go all out for like a 3 to 6 month or 6 months to a year excursion on and spending all the points and all the stuff on the most lavish vacations possible. Where would you say you kind of land? Do you think you would have preferred like an all out, crazy experience, 5-star everything, or do you prefer how you did it, kind of just budget everything but see more for a longer period of time?
Yeah, I would say before I give my answer, I want to say that I'm in a very unique circumstance than pretty much everyone else. That like everyone is trying to like travel the best they can with
Yeah,
their limited PTO days and whatnot. But because we have kind of built our business around, well, we got to post a bunch of travel videos. We got to go to a bunch of different
that's
places.
true.
So I would absolutely fall in the camp of I want to make my points and miles stretch as far as possible. Like that's why I just see a really good value. I'm like, I could either book this Hyatt for 5,000 points, or I could book this Hyatt for 40,000 points for one night. I'm 100% of the time I'm gonna take the 5,000 point night, because, well, yes, because I love a good value, and also because, well, I need my points for our other travels too. Like I'm not just going like to this place for like 5 nights and coming
Yeah.
home and that's all I get. I would say if people have limited PTO days, I would say, and like you just can't get away from work and you need to come back to the US to work, like absolutely, I would say go all out as much as you can, because that would just make the most sense, because you want these once in a lifetime experiences. And if you're going to visit like one new country a year, then why not spend the points to do it?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I would be thinking too, I think. If I was just only like you guys, making content only in those countries. Yeah, you want the more videos you can do in each new place possible. Hell yeah. That I would be all yeah, I would be all about that as well. That's so crazy. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, you might be surprised. We have a few people in the community, even some non people in the YouTube space that have kind of done similar things to you. They kind of, or maybe they made like some money and they said, you know what, I'm just quitting everything and I'm traveling. Actually, Wandering Doc comes to mind because he's still doing it. He's all he does is travel. He's probably in like Singapore right now or something. I forget where he is, but he's it's very similar what you're saying and how he kind of views things sometimes. And you were saying you had to go back and forth to, I guess, go back to visit family in America. How long of a stint would you guys stay before coming back? Like, would you live in a certain area for 3 weeks, a month and a half before coming back, or was this longer, like 6 months maybe?
It never really was as long as we would have, I guess, dreamed of or hoped for. Like after being away, like out of the U.S. for certain periods of time, we realized, okay, well, this is amazing, and we love traveling, but also we love our families and we love the friends that we have back in the U.S. And so it was what we dreamed of originally when we were like, we're just going to go all out and we're not coming back to the US until our money runs out, or we are forced to come back. Well, it definitely changed after, because our first trip to Europe was right before Christmas. It was like November, and we were going to come back like right before Christmas to celebrate with family and be with friends and stuff. And then we just kind of we liked that. We liked going to Europe. We were there for I think a little bit more than a month, and then we came back for about a month before our next trip.
Hmm.
And so it was kind of like a month, a month in the U.S., a month away, a month come back, and we actually really liked that, and it actually helped us make a little bit more money when we were in the U.S. doing like side jobs here and there. And so we're like, well, this can stretch. Our money can stretch further if we come back to the U.S. a lot,
Hmm.
and we get to see family and friends. So we kind of just
Hmm.
made that our new plan.
Huh.
So we never were really gone from the U.S. for very long, and we're still not. Sometimes like 6 weeks, 7 weeks is maybe our max of when we were out of the U.S.
Huh. Wow. That's that's not what I expected. I figured you guys were just living over there pretty much full time, just in every new country every time. Because because I was showing my wife your guys' channel the other day, and I was like, look at these crazy people. They're going out there and they're traveling like all the time. And one of the questions that we always ask, and we ask other people as well, is when you're out there, because I don't know how you guys are, but we typically like to have everything just kind of situated. Like we love coming back to the house, and we know everything's in the right place. We have the same food on rotation every single week. We like to know where the gym is. Like we have everything that we need right here. On vacations, of course, you have to deviate from that, and maybe you get a little less healthy because you're eating different foods out there, or you can't work out as much. So all those things that we kind of cherish, we forego when we were away. And I remember talking to her, and she was like, I was like, I'll go crazy if we were just constantly in another country, just not kind of with the, because 6 weeks still still might probably be a little long for us, to be honest. But you guys are like sensitive to that at all? Like just the foods in other countries, or not having everything with you, or you just, it doesn't really mean anything to you, really?
Um, yeah, traveling is exhausting.
Hmm.
Vacations are relaxing, but it's not really a vacation for us. We're working constantly. We're putting in like 12, 16-hour work days, like every single day, 7 days a week. And because we're just filming all these videos and putting it on our other channel.
Mhm.
And so like traveling, like finding out like flights and trains and buses and things like that, or like not having a gym, not having food that you're used to, like,
Hmm.
yeah, it drains you a little bit for sure. Um, and it's so, yeah, I mean, the routine of it, like, we definitely miss that. Like, when we're in other countries, we liked having the routine, but then we feel like we have a good balance right now of, like,
Hmm.
we're able to, like, do this really exciting, like, fun thing for a month or more at a time.
Hmm.
And it's going to be tiring. It's going to be a ton of fun. And then we get to come back to the US and we're still working a lot because then we got to edit all those videos.
Right.
But yeah, but it's a little bit more of a routine, have like kind of like a weekly schedule.
I like that. It's reminded me of like I don't know if you ever played, but for those of you who played MMORPGs, growing up, these role playing games where you go out on a quest, you adventure, you fight whatever, and just to you know fight a dragon, who knows, bring back bring back the chalice or something. So you kind of like build up all the skills, and then you come back home and kind of recharge, and you have home base. And I like that a lot, because each time you go out, I'm sure you learn a ton of stuff. Of course, you're working, and building up your guys' businesses. So I think that's really cool, and I like that idea for sure. And I can imagine all the work that you guys are putting in. I know there's like, you're uploading like a few times a week on that channel, a few times a week on, or maybe a couple times a week on this channel. It's just like an insane production that you guys are definitely doing. Um, do you ever feel like when you are just doing this, you're traveling and you're having fun and you're working a lot too? So, like you said, 12 to 16-hour days editing and filming. Have you ever found yet where it like kind of dampened where you were or where you were traveling just because of how much you were filming? Because I'm starting to see this as I'm going to places. I'm like, oh wait, I have to film that. I have to film that. So it's like always on my mind now. I have to get all the footage. Is there a way that you've been able to balance that?
Uh, yeah, I mean, we've always felt that of like, if we're having to film something, if we're trying to capture the perfect picture or the perfect video, and like and then we know in the back of our minds, well, we got to get back to the hotel. It's already like 4 p.m. We gotta edit this video and try to like get it out, you know. And so yeah, of course it does dampen it a little bit. And even when we want to stay out and we want to keep exploring the city that we're in, and we're having a good time, we know we have to go back to the hotel. Like, you know, that's not always fun, but it's us posting YouTube videos and making money just from people simply clicking on our faces and wanting to watch our videos. Like, that's how we make our money. That's our job. So even though it's not always the most fun to stop exploring the city, to go back and stare at our computer screen for 6 hours, like, it's like, I would definitely go this route, because, and we also just get a ton of memories that we get to build up on YouTube too. It's like, we get to look back and say, look how many of fun places we went, and we get to watch those videos. And eventually, you know, if we have kids, then our kids can watch our videos and be like, this is what we did like 10 years ago or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for not posting YouTube videos and not working.
Absolutely. And I love that, because same thing. We were literally just talking about, because I went to the Waldorf recently. I was like, isn't it so cool to be able to, like, yeah, have these experiences, edit them all down into like a highlight reel, and then it's on YouTube forever, you know, that people can watch when we're, you know, even 200 years from now. You can watch, you know, Jacob and Jenny go to Poland or something, or your grandchildren or something like that. I think that's like so crazy. It's so crazy, because it's like, you know, what do we have now? Like, we have if we want to look at our grandparents, we have some old, maybe, you know, not even Polaroid, even before Polaroid, but some of these older pictures from my grandparents from the early, you know, 1900s, or don't even have photographs, but like, those are your only captures of moments of time that you can to relate back to just your, you know, your family. But now it's like, we are literally, as scary as it sounds, like, immortalizing ourselves, and not just people on YouTube. I mean, anybody has an iPhone who's recording out and about. You know, when if you have an iPhone, your phone is already making memories in one of your albums, so it's giving you a highlight reel of wherever you've been. So it's like, it's pretty crazy that all of this stuff is just in the phone forever, that anybody can, you know, look back to, you know, in future generations. I don't know. I just think that's so insane, for sure. I also want to say, Keith S, what's poppin'? Jacob, do they have turkey burgers overseas?
Yeah, of course. They're harder to find than what you get at your store, Anthony.
That's right.
But I mean, yeah, they're out there. You can go find them. You just might be a little more difficult to find.
That's right. That's funny. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, man. We all know one day we'll drop the Venture Burger. Maybe, I don't know if we could be. You know, that'd be so crazy. In fact, my goal is I want to take Mark Wahlberg out, you know, and I hope that doesn't get clipped up and it's like, oh, now, you know, FBI, what up? But, you know, his burgers are not good. I feel like I could destroy him if I made my own one day. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But
I don't eat turkey burgers. I don't know.
Come on, man. It's the best. It's the best thing.
Hey, if you made a turkey burger, I would try it, and I would really enjoy it. It's the best. The Venture Burger is the best burger I have ever tried.
Let's just imagine just all sponsored videos, like, it's a paid promotion at the top. Like, well, thank you, sir. And Mara said, as a species, we take too many photos, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. And Don Kim says, no more Kodak moments? Yeah, man, we got to picture that with a Kodak. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think we take too many photos? I used to think so, and there was a time where I consciously stopped before YouTube, right? Because now it's like, I want to for that. But then I literally had that idea in my mind, what I just talked about. Like, oh, if I go into the photo library and it makes memories, I'm just going to take videos, like, you know, okay, video, cool picture, I'm here, and it'll just make, you know, a memory down the line. And I liked it for that reason. So I started retaking videos and retaking photos. But what do you think? Do you think, like, we take too many photos as a society? Like Emma was saying?
As a society, I don't know. I mean, maybe you find too many people. You go to this, like, tourist attraction and you see everyone out taking a selfie and stuff like that. Like, okay, that doesn't really seem that right. But then also, I'm doing the same thing just with my vlogging camera. I'm taking a video of myself.
How does this work?
Right. I don't think so. But you want those memories. You want the like. It's weird to see all the people taking selfies and stuff like that, but you want the memories. You want to remember like the time that you had. And yeah, maybe people like some people overdo it, but I don't know. I don't think you have to overdo it.
Yeah, it's definitely a fine line. When I was at the Waldorf, there were these people that were. I actually took a photo for them. There was like four of them, and they were doing pictures for quite literally like a half hour straight in front of the same background. I was like, damn. I was like, because they were intertwining, intermingling. So that's I thought was a little overboard, but I get it. Um, Emma says, edit your photo library. We taking pictures of the same thing, but we never remove the line that's oh yes, 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 like I guess it won't have a copy if it's like the exact same thing. It can kind of auto delete it. That's true. Philmo says Venture Burger trademarked. Yeah, man, we're doing it. Yeah, right. Keith, the Venture Burger sounds a little dangerous, like an adventure. Yeah, man, every bite's like a little adventure in your mouth. Yeah, that's it. Ridiculous. What the hell does that mean? Anyway, so I do want to get into more. So I kind of want to pause that story where you're abroad and you're kind of, I would say, maybe a year in, something like that. I want to return back to it, but I also want to go back to so okay, just to categorize it for everybody. You have the Jacob and Jenny channel, which is your travel. It's everything travel and all the crazy things you can do in all these different countries. Then you have the Jacob Points and Profit, which I'll link both after this video. Anyway, where you kind of talk about all of the strategies that are getting you to all of these places that you're going to nowadays. So I love that that synergy you have. I also want to ask you, because recently you did a video, if you could only have one card for 2024, just one card, and you talked about like a CSR, it's not necessarily the best for what I'm looking for right now. Platinum, I think it's a great card, it's just not what I'm looking for. And you eventually landed on the Venture X. I just kind of wanted to ask on an overall perspective, because a lot of people have opinions on the Venture X. I just wanted to ask why you think, for you, it just works best for you. With the way that you guys live and travel, do you care about the insurances on the card when you're traveling? Do you, the credits, the lounge access? What do you think on that?
Well, with my Venture X that I have right here,
Oh,
I would say the only thing that I care about is that it's metal. No.
same.
No. I love that the Venture X has a lower annual fee than the Sapphire Reserve and the MX Platinum. I love that it's $395. Like, that's so fantastic. I think when I'm talking to a broad range of people, right? Because that's what we're doing when we make YouTube videos. We don't know exactly who's clicking on them and trying to learn information. I just say, like, the MX Platinum and the Sapphire Reserve are a little bit harder to recommend to most people. But then again, you said that this video was what I would choose, and I would just go back to the same reason. Like, I would want to make sure that I am getting good value for the annual fee that I'm paying. It really, when I think about it, it's the priority pass that you get. You get access to lounges, which, by the way, if you haven't traveled internationally and checked out the priority pass lounges over there, you need to. Well, because your perspective might change on what priority pass actually is. Priority pass in the U.S. Is probably not very good. I haven't been to too many priority pass lounges in the U.S., but I've been to priority pass in Japan, Korea, Thailand, like so many different countries. And most of these priority pass lounges are business class lounges, like for business class passengers only, unless you have priority pass. And these are nicer. Some of them are nicer than MX Centurion lounges.
Wow.
And so, like, priority pass is, I think it's still, even though everybody talks about it, everybody makes videos, okay, this one gives you lounges and all that. And like, I still think priority pass is underrated. And so that's a huge benefit to the Venture X that, of course, you get with a ton of other cards, but the Venture X is going to be $395 annual fee. And the 2X on everything, the spending categories, I don't talk about, well, I guess I do talk about spending categories a lot, but they really don't mean that much compared to welcome offers you can get by signing up for new cards. And meeting the minimum spend. But the 2x on everything is really solid because I mean, I can earn travel points, not just 2% cash back. I can earn travel points and get, I don't even have to worry like, okay, which card am I going to use for this? It doesn't matter. Venture X. Then like there, and then the $300 travel credit. I mean, like a lot of people like to make fun of it, especially like on YouTube. It's an easy thing to make fun of. Well, you got to go use the Capital One portal. Like nobody likes using portals. Well, I don't know. I found I was flying from JFK to Phoenix, and I saw that the cheapest flight was Delta for like just under $300, and I was like, okay, I wonder if I can use the travel portal for this. And oh, okay, there we go. So it was like $150 per person, and with me traveling with my wife, that's $300 right there. We didn't have to pay for our flight to come home from New York, and so we're like, okay, this is great. And then eventually I'm going to get my anniversary miles at 10,000, and with all that, like the Venture X, that's a fantastic card for me.
Absolutely. And I actually have a question on that, but first I got to hit up Mr. Dollar Man. He came in hot with a 10 spot. Thank you so much, sir. He said, Venture/Turkey Burger Fund. Oh my God. It's going to happen now. It has to happen. I'll put it towards the fund. I love Jacob's channel and so happy for his success. Go subscribe, people. I got a few more of his channels I have to check out. Hell yeah. Actually, Keith was so gracious. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Keith. He put Jacob's channels in here, so definitely go hit him up. And thank you, Dollar Man, again for that. Turkey bread. It's gonna have to be a thing. Sorry. Thank you again.
I do need to thank the Dollar Man. He was, I think, one of the biggest people in trying to push me over 1,000 subscribers. I think when I was around like 800 or so, I was trying to get to 1,000 as fast as possible. And like every time I would go onto a live stream from any of the creators out there, he would just, I would just say like, hey everyone, and just kind of interact with people. And the Dollar Man would come in with a super chat and be like, shout out to Jacob, like his channel's the best. And I'm like, whoa, like he's just dropping money just so that I can get more subscribers. This is crazy.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Dollar Man, you've been around for a bit, for sure, long time, and totally respected in the community. We definitely appreciate you. The Amazing Dollar Man. I hate that it doesn't say the Amazing Dollar Man on there. And then, oh damn, Xavier, what the hell? Oh God, this is not going to be one of those crazy. This is going to be great. This is crazy. Xavier, you already did this. You already did freaking. You came in early and super hot at the super chat. Venture X gets it done. If you don't like the Venture X, is it because you were denied? The crying laughing emoji is the most disrespectful. The most disrespectful thing you could have done. What's the matter? You didn't get approved for the Venture X. That's so true. You know, I feel like I'm on a good streak. I should just apply for it just for the hell of it. Just say, hey, we did it. But I wonder if they would deny me. I don't know. Well, thank you, Xavier. And shout out to Xavier. I believe Tuesday, I think it's going to be Tuesday, he'll be on with Mr. Joe Pareto. Him and Tariq, actually. Going to do a live stream, so that's going to be fun. Xavier, I want to learn everything about you, so I'll definitely be I'll be in that. So thank you. Don't make me go crazy. Thank you very much for that. That's way more. That's way too much. That's way too much. That's ridiculous. Thank you very much. And actually, I did want to shout out as well. Traveling on Everyday Spend. Congrats on the success, Jacob. Thanks, Anthony, for bringing him on. Always great to hear new perspectives. And this is a guy I want to get on as well. This guy, he's pretty cool. He's also got a channel. I think you could just click on his name probably if you're in the chat. But he's also got a great channel, very insightful for sure. I definitely want to get him on one of these times. Definitely. What am I looking at? Oh yeah. So thank you for coming in as well. And Xavier and Dollar Man, you guys are crazy. Jeez. Sorry, John, Staten Island Oprah will be handing out turkey burgers to yes. Everybody's getting turkey burgers. That's so funny. All right. So I wanted to also ask you. So you said the Venture X. So you said the Venture X and the Priority Pass lounge access. So I'm also guessing that you are getting value from adding Jenny as an authorized user, since that is free, right? And I wanted to ask with that, are you, so you mentioned like the priority passes abroad in a lot of these countries you've been to are like really nice. Some of them are better than Centurion lounges. Um, what is there anything that people are unaware of when taking like authorized users to a priority pass lounge to other countries? Because I've never been to a priority pass lounge. I'm not familiar with it, and especially not abroad. So is there like, are there differences with that abroad than here?
Hmm. Yeah, I'll just explain like my situation. So
Mm.
we actually got the Amex Platinum card first before the Venture X, and
Mm.
so we got Priority Pass from that. So I signed up for the Platinum card, and
Mm.
then I got Priority Pass, and with that comes free guest access to
Mm.
Priority Pass. So we didn't even need to get like her any cards. We didn't even need to sign her up for an authorized user card, but I mean, we did it anyway. We did. We are now paying $195 every year for her to be an authorized user on the Platinum card, which, I wish I didn't have to pay it, but that's how we get her into Centurion lounges.
Mm.
And we go to Centurion lounges like at least 10 times a year, so we figure it's fine.
Makes
It's
sense.
fine for the investment. And then this Venture X, it's actually her Venture X. It's not even mine.
Oh, really?
I want one day, but it's just hers. But I mean, basically how it works is, I mean, we share all our finances, and so all her accounts are my accounts, all my credit card accounts are hers, basically. So I'm allowed to say it's my Venture X, even though it's really hers.
Right.
So, but these Priority Pass lounges in other countries, right? That's what you were asking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you get the free guest access, but she has her own Priority Pass now too. So
Gotcha.
it's like we don't even have to use a guest pass if we don't want to, even though it doesn't really matter. But the Priority Pass lounges in other countries, like they're so nice. You get like the unique food like from that country, and they're most of the time they're so clean. There's not very many people in these lounges. Because they are those like business class lounges. Like we just came from Seoul, South Korea, and you go, if you have Priority Pass, you go to business class lounge, Asiana business class, which is where only business class passengers. It's actually funny. I flew Asiana business class, which is a Korean airline, to Korea. I just like going to Asia from the U.S. And our ticket for being a business class passenger was said you get free lounge access. You get to go to the business class lounge. And I'm like, this is funny because I've already been here, but it was just as I was just using Priority Pass. And so, yeah, there's just like lounges like that. They're so nice, like that they just seem to have really good food, lots of space. Like the lounges are huge a lot of the time. Sometimes they're not. It's still hit or miss, but definitely much higher chance of being a great lounge if it's internationally, in my experience, at least.
That's really good to hear, because I can't, obviously you can't watch everybody, but at least over I haven't really heard anybody mention that before other than you is, all these different countries, and their priority pass lounges being like, that's crazy. Do you remember which ones you feel like are better than maybe some of the higher tier, I don't know, Sky lounges or Centurion lounges, like in which countries those were in?
I'm trying to remember. So there's one in Tokyo. I think it's just called like ANA Lounge. It's the airline. That there's two of them actually in that's Narita Airport. So one of like there's two main airports in Tokyo. We've just been to one of them so far. And so that ANA Lounge is probably the best lounge I've might have ever been to, except the food's not that good. So like one time the chicken was undercooked. So
oh no,
I just didn't eat it. But other than that, the lounge is huge. They have this whole like front section near all the food where you can like watch the planes and stuff. And then most people don't go to the back of the lounge, which is an even bigger area, and there's nobody there. There's like chairs you sleep in, like massage chairs, stuff like that. That was one time, because that was a year ago, and that was like, okay, Priority Pass is pretty special. that I remember thinking that in that lounge because we had a 10-hour layover there. And so I was like, yeah, this is great. Trying to think, like just pretty much every time I walk into Priority Pass, I'm not like worried that, oh, this might be bad. Like, I'm not even worried about that. I'm like, we did a Priority Pass lounge. Oh yeah, I'm in. Let's go.
That's so, and it's funny because of how contrary the perception it gets on YouTube. So I guess you would probably agree, maybe from what I'm gathering, is maybe just the United States, I guess maybe North American priority passes are what people are kind of complaining about, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would think because that's what most people have experience with, right? And then that's what everybody can relate to. Oh, have you been to the Priority Pass in Chicago? Yeah, it was terrible. Like stuff like that. And more people travel through Chicago than travel through Tokyo or Vietnam or whatever, and it can experience like the lounge. And so I mean it totally makes sense why people like to say that Priority Pass isn't good. But I found, especially in Asia, like, I don't know. I don't have any complaints.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm really excited to be able to. And I guess when you're trying to find these lounges, how do you know which ones are Priority Pass and which ones aren't? Do you have like how are you researching that?
Yeah. So just go to prioritypass.com, and then they have a search. They have a search bar right in the top left. And then you type in your airport code, and you get to see like all of the lounges and what terminal they're in. And it's just like a really easy search tool to use. And like, okay, maybe like if I'm deciding on like which airport to lay over, I'll like, if I'm taking a European flight and I know I need at least one layover, I'm like, okay, should I choose this city or this city? And most of the time it might come down to of course the points cost and all that, how much it's going to cost me. But if they're similar, then like, okay, let's just find out what Priority Pass lounge looks the best, and maybe we'll do that city. It's like, so it's pretty easy. Like I'm just like, okay, this is a Priority Pass lounge, it looks good, and like, let's book the ticket.
Gotcha. And like I said, with this kind of stuff, I'm still very much a novice, so I like to know. I guess so. Okay, so you see it on the app and you see these lounges. Do any of them have restrictions? Like, like if I have like a Delta Reserve card, okay, I have to fly Delta to be able to gain access to these lounges, or something like that. Like one of those restrictions. Do they have that based on the flight, the airline that you're taking, or just how many hours prior to getting there? If it's like a going to or going from, do they have those types of restrictions that you've seen?
There are some lounges, like it just depends. Like sometimes they're in a different terminal than the one your flight's coming out of. But a lot of that is like, you won't be able to go to that Priority Pass lounge because your flight is taken off from that different terminal, and it's separated by domestic departures and international departures. So it's like you can't even go to that lounge, and because you're flying internationally when it's for domestic or whatever, like something like that. And it works that way. Like, it's kind of, you really want to make sure that you're like checking this out, especially in Europe when you're traveling, because you travel into the Shenzhen area, which is like a bunch of European countries all have an agreement that you can travel within those countries without really like even showing your passport. It's like, there's no real border control between those countries. You fly from Germany to France or whatever, and like you just go there. They don't check your passport, stuff like that. And so, but sometimes you got to make sure that those lounges, some of them are Shenzhen or non-Shenzhen, and I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly, but
you are. Yeah.
But yeah, you just want to make sure that if you are traveling within that area, you actually find a Priority Pass lounge that allows you, because it'll be separate. You have to go through border control inside the airport, and then once you leave the area, you won't be able to come back. And so,
gotcha. That's pretty interesting. That's really good to know. That's God, there's a whole world out there for all of us to eventually explore whenever we get to that point. That's really good to know, though. That's interesting to see. And I realized I'm remiss. I missed Keith S. with a crazy $20 super chat.
That's
This is
nuts.
It's ridiculous. The built man is coming in. Well, actually, I think soon to be Chase Sapphire Reserve man with this comment here. But we'll see. For a box of your favorite turkey, you know, just for you, Keith, I'll show you the box.
Okay, now that I have, no, don't come back in.
You.
I have to show.
Whoa! What is he doing?
I was hoping you would be gone for longer, and I could show everyone in the audience my rose gold card.
Get out of here!
Look at that.
Get off the screen! Oh my god. Well, see, this is not my favorite because it's not. You know, they weren't on sale. But this one right now, you get the Jenny O. I kind of like the dark a little bit better, to be honest. But white's okay too. It's a buy one get one free, and yes, that does mean 50% off per box. You know, it's not just, you know, buy one you get one free. I get it, you know, whatever. But this is pretty good. These are pretty good for $6 each. So, man, you just got me 3 boxes with that. Thank you so much, Keith. That's really too much. I'll be back.
Okay, and yes, John R., the rose gold, that is the card. But you got to notice here, that's not my card. That's my wife's card, and she wanted rose gold, and that's what she was going to get. So I didn't really have another option. I couldn't just say, well, I'm getting you a gold card, because it's her decision.
What's her decision?
to get the rose gold card.
No.
It's her card. It's not mine. I don't get to choose gold card. It's her application.
Listen, you're the man of the house. You got to make the decision, okay?
So this was the card that I ended up getting a pop-up jail for. I was trying to get the business gold card, and Amex wouldn't let me. And so I was like, well, if my wife's applying, then if I'm applying, I'll get the gold card. If she's applying, she'll get rose gold, and we'll just see which one Amex likes more. And it happened to be her.
Gotcha. Okay. So at least the decision doesn't have to be final. You got the points, but you know, you could always get a replacement for the classic, you know, the classic one, you know, if you need be. But no, thank you, Keith. That's really crazy. That's really too much. So yeah, you got me. Like if they're going to continue being on sale, then there'll be 2 or 3 of the Jenny O's. So I appreciate that. I'm not going to show you the Wahlburgers though, because they're trash. You know, sorry, Mark Wahlberg, but they're trash, man. They're trash, and they make a lot of mess. It's a huge mess. Thank you again, Keith. It's too much. I really appreciate that. Let me just. Oh God, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, the Amex ping card TM. Oh God, you got John's unsubbing now. Look what
Please
you
don't,
did.
John. I need you.
What did you do? Oh, Cody said my wife wanted the rose gold for hers, so I didn't have a choice either. Unbelievable, Cody. God, we have traitors.
Well, it's okay because it's the business rose gold card, so it's not even like this is probably sticking around for that much longer.
All right,
they raised the annual fee.
That's true.
$375. What is it for that? Like,
yeah, $395.
probably not. I don't know if I want to pay that.
I don't know. Yeah, there's really not many people that have been keeping them for over a year. Yeah, I think is it $395? I think it's $395.
What is that? Let me check. I should know this.
I'm just upset.
$375. Okay, I got it right.
Is it a $375? Really? $375?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm
That's
just upset
high.
that. Yeah, come on. That plus they never had a rose gold option for the business card. Never had it, and then all of a sudden now they have it. Like 6 months ago, whenever they introduced it. So, that was one of my main points against it. Like, why wouldn't you make a rose gold business? Obviously, because it's trash. But now they have it, so I have to walk that back. But unbelievable. Oh yeah, $375. Kevin says. Joe said I cut up Terry's rose gold. I know. He did it in my honor on stream with the freaking scissors. Show. Dad Nuke's mom's wrote yes, absolutely. MR. My initials are MRS, so that makes sense why I love the pink card too. Mrs.
That's pretty much the only reason I got the card was because it was rose gold.
Oh, come on. No, let's not. Come on.
I
We're
would
having a good
pay.
time.
I would pay over $1,000 in annual fees just to get a rose gold card.
You can't say that to me right now. This is not like, listen, this is not a fun time now for me. Like I'm not having a better time that you're talking about rose gold.
Give me 1x spend on
Oh
everything.
my
Give
God,
me.
this
I don't
guy.
want any credits. I don't want any of that. I just want a rose gold card.
He's just
I'll
being
pay 2,000.
facetious. You paid two.
I'll
Okay.
I'll pay Centurion card level prices just to get my hands on a rose gold card.
I will make sure that if that ever happened, yeah, look, I don't want to unsubscribe. I don't want to do it. But you're gonna make us do it. You're thinking you're funny, you think you're being facetious, but we're not happy about this. And in a second, I'm about to grab CJ's rose gold shirt. I'm gonna light it on fire, and I'm gonna do that right on
Hey,
stream.
go for it. Go for it. These are all jokes. All right. I'm not a fan of the rose gold. Everyone, I'm on your team.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
If I ever get the personal gold card, I'll make sure it's gold, not rose gold.
Okay, thank you very much. That's
Actually, I
means
can't
a lot.
even get the gold card because I have the platinum. I won't get the welcome offer on the.
Oh.
So maybe my wife will be applying for the personal gold card too, and she'll get another rose gold.
Oh my God. Oh God, Keith. For anyone who wants to unsubscribe.
Oh no, Keith.
You're ruining everything. Oh, John McKinstry's got your back. This is ridiculous. This is not. Listen, this has been a. Oh my God, gold is old.
There we go.
You know what? What did I used to have a problem with? Isn't there an old phrase? Oh, I can't remember. I used to be upset with my friend who used to say, wasn't there like a thing like, oh yeah, oldies, like oldies are goodies. Like that's the phrase. Apparently that's the correct phrase. But I was like, why is it not oldies but goldies? It didn't make any sense. We're like, no, bro, it's goodies. It's oldies but goodies. I'm like, that's stupid. I don't know. Sorry.
I don't know what the background of that phrase is. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe Richie knows. He just came in. He knows some things like that sometimes. Anyway, with all this freaking craziness in here, what's going on, Key? Oh, Michael Wong. He's stopping in early here before we jump on the bullet train.
There we go. Bullet train.
I think you guys did some videos about some bullet trains in different countries, right?
Yeah, Wang Wei, you're in Tokyo, right? Or I guess maybe you're leaving Tokyo. Yeah, bullet trains are really fun. You go like 200 miles an hour. You're just flying through the whole country. Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah, and I think Yokoyama did one recently. I saw you guys did that. And I guess Michael's gonna do it. Are those really that revolutionary? Like, I always seen them and people talking about them and whatnot. How are they is that a thing where, like, how long are you on it? Like, could you eat food and, and order something or something?
Yeah. Can you order food? I'm sure you probably can. We got like some snacks from the vending machine and brought that on. There was a couple next to us that they were Japanese and they brought on their McDonald's and they were eating that and we were jealous because we could smell the fries and like that. But yeah, the trains are really fun. I love traveling to different cities on trains or even buses too. I don't know, maybe I'm kind of weird like that, sitting in a bus. But yeah, the bullet trains are just fun. Like it's just something you don't really get to do in the U.S. I mean, maybe on the East Coast a little bit you get trains, but like Northeast maybe. But I mean, yeah, it's just fun to do something that I can't do in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, I could imagine. And sorry, I just wanted to make sure. Oldie but goodie. Yeah, and Joe says, as the old guy, it means what it was in the past is still good. It just doesn't sound right. Why can't, like, the golden era, the golden days? Why is it not oldie but goodie? I don't know. That's my soapbox. I'm gonna have to spend more money to get Jacob's subscribers back. Oh no! It got out every single live stream.
If I refresh my profile, will I have less subscribers than when we started?
Probably not. Probably not. I don't think people. They're not as crazy as I am. I would do that, but Richie asked, anybody done that Alaskan train tour? I want to try that. I'm not familiar with that. Are you?
I have. Well, I've definitely never done it. I think I heard a few things, but no, I don't really know that much about it.
Gotcha. And one thing you kind of mentioned that reminded me on your other channel is you said like you smelled the McDonald's and you were jealous. And I know you have this whole playlist like McDonald's in a million different countries. What's the deal with that, man? You go into McDonald's in every country. You know that's like everyone says it's sacrilegious, right?
Well, here's the thing we realized. Okay, my wife and I, when we're traveling around to every single country in the world, and I don't know, pick a country, they probably have a McDonald's. And when you walk in, unless you're in like very touristy area, you walk into McDonald's and it is packed. It doesn't matter what time of day, it's packed with people, and they're all locals. And
Really?
like you don't see a bunch of Americans in there eating their Big Macs and fries. It is like almost 100% local people. Of course, like I said, if you're going to a very touristy place, like you find a bunch of tourists, but no, you just walk in, you go to Denmark, you see a bunch of people from Denmark eating McDonald's, even though they're like, no, we eat the good food. But, you go into Singapore and you go to McDonald's and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of Singaporeans eating McDonald's. It's not just an American thing.
Wow, that is how revolutionary of a product that McDonald's is. McDonald's really does like just pull the whole world together. It's the glue that keeps everyone intact, I guess. And I didn't actually look through, but how many different McDonald's did you guys do videos in? Like in how many different countries?
Yeah, so I mean, we would like to do a lot more, but McDonald's never sponsored us, and so we haven't done one of those in a while. I know, man. Like, come on, McDonald's, they got the money.
Right.
But so we posted like one or two, and they got a lot of views, so we just kept going, and our goal was to try all of the unique menu items that country had. So it didn't matter how many items. We're just gonna try all of them that we don't recognize, and every single country has at least 3, 4, 5 items that are unique to that one country that appeal to the locals' food tastes. And so we've ate McDonald's. I had a list. I stopped counting, but it was at least 10 different countries that we just like, we're going to go eat McDonald's today because maybe we're feeling homesick or maybe we just want to try the unique foods. And yeah, at least 10 countries.
I think it's so interesting, to compare them all. Hey, you know what? It's actually reminding me. I think I saw someone do a video also comparing, like, I don't know, maybe an English one, and they had like an English flag, and maybe they had like Gordon Ramsay's fish and chips in one of the burgers. I forget what it was, but it was something like that. So it's interesting. Yeah, they all have their own unique, I guess foods that they have of just their home country. And actually, Monty, it's Poppin' Monty, also has a great channel. He said the McSpicy in Singapore is one of the best fast food burgers ever. Really?
I'm missing that right now.
Did you have that actually? Did you have it in Singapore?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we had it. We tried like so many things. We tried like 7 or 8 unique things, and that was just we could only find in Singapore. And we're like, this is great.
Wow, that is so crazy. What I always like to ask too. Do you have maybe like a top 1, 2, 3 foods that you've ever had in any of these other countries that you're like, oh, I need to go back for that specific, like you would get that over and over, anything like that?
Let's see, that's tough. I'm thinking about all the countries.
I can imagine. McDonald's, right? That's the one.
Well, McDonald's in Singapore, McDonald's in Belgium, and McDonald's in the US.
That's right.
One of the very first foods, it sticks with me. It's the salmon that we had in Finland. It was just like raw salmon. They just had it at the hotel breakfast, and like, oh, there's salmon. I'm gonna try it, and it was so amazing. Wow. Turns out that might be salmon from Norway, but either way, Norway or Finland, like the salmon there is just fantastic. I mean, ramen in Japan. Yeah, that's it. The fact that it's like half the price as it is in the US and it tastes better. That's something that sticks with us and me and my wife. We just like talk about, okay, because Japan's one of the easier Asian countries to visit from the U.S. So we're
Hmm.
like, maybe we'll just stop in Japan and just eat a bunch of food on our way to a different country, something like that.
Yeah.
Japanese food is really good.
Huh.
And I don't know. There's other things too, like the noodles in Singapore, because we're talking about Singapore. That
Yeah.
that, and yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff all around the world.
That's really awesome. That's pretty cool. I guess one of the more typical questions people usually ask, like, oh, what's your favorite country? But what if I asked you what was one of your favorite countries to ever like film a YouTube video in?
Hmm.
I wonder if that changes things a little bit.
To film a YouTube video in.
Some people just give you more material than others, you know?
Yeah, there's so many. The first thing that popped into my mind, maybe it's not the right answer for the question, but the first thing that popped in was when we were traveling in Norway, and we were above the Arctic Circle, and we were there in fall/winter time, and we were there to go whale watching. We were, and so we got on a boat, and then we went out and we just like saw, or it was orcas and whales, and we just got to see them from the boat. And there's only, in that time of year, there's only like an hour of daylight, really. So we get to the whales right at when the sun is trying to peek over the horizon, and then we get to see them, and then it's like a 3-4 hour boat journey back to where we were, and the northern lights just appeared in front of our eyes at like it's 2 p.m. at this point, but it's pitch black outside, and the northern lights are just like, it feels like they're following our boat all the way back to land. And it was great, and we just have a lot of experiences like that in Norway. We didn't spend a ton of time there, but we're planning to go back in the next couple months, I think. And so we're excited to go back and film more videos there. We love filming videos. I mean, we love filming videos when we get the most views on YouTube.
Oh, of course, right. Oh yeah, which countries do the best on YouTube, do you think? My first guess, knowing nothing, would be like Japan. Like I would just imagine that gets the most views, but from your perspective, what does?
Yeah, Japan, it's just so wild. Like it varies so much just for, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but our Japanese videos didn't really do that well. But it's fine because we love Japan and we talk about going back, so like it doesn't really affect us that much. I mean, we're posting videos from Korea and they're doing really well. It's interesting too because a lot of people living in that country will watch our videos. So we're posting videos from Korea, and a bunch of Koreans are watching the video, and so, and then we go to other countries. We go to Thailand, and a bunch of Thai people were watching, like stuff like that, and same with like Germany. So it is kind of weird because like we do have our U.S. audience that will watch every video and they enjoy them, and then there's people that like, hey, they're in my country, I'm gonna click on their video, and stuff like that. And then when we go to a different country, they like stop watching.
That's so crazy. I never would have necessarily thought that, because I don't think we do that. Maybe it's different for people in other countries, but like if someone lands in South Carolina, and like I won't even see it because I'm not searching, what to do, and I'm here,
Right.
But maybe they just think like, oh, there's a person exploring in my country or something. A little more nationalism, maybe. That's that's pretty interesting. I didn't think that would be a thing. And I know, have you talked about where you're going next?
Where we're going next? Well, yeah. In a week, we have a flight to Kenya.
Oh my God.
And so this is a business class redemption that we made. We're flying from Toronto, and we have a layover. We're on Ethiopian Airways. It's like a 13-hour flight. We're going straight from Toronto to Ethiopia. It's like a 2-hour layover, and then to Kenya to go on a safari.
Oh my God.
So we're super pumped about that. We've been trying to do safari for like 3 years. But that was one of the first places. We're actually going to go to South Africa It's one of the very first places that me and my wife would like ever travel to. And then just with the whole pandemic, things were looking good. And then we're like, okay, cool, we're going to book it. And then things were looking better. And then things got like significantly worse, like a couple weeks before we were supposed to go. So we had to cancel the whole trip. And so we're really excited to finally get to Africa, and we've never been. So that'll be our 6th continent.
Damn.
And
Damn.
We just have one left, and hopefully,
is it Antarctica?
Antarctica, yeah. And we're trying to figure out how to do that in the best budget possible way, because we're figuring out like you can't really use that many miles and points when you're on a Arctic cruise out to Antarctica. Yeah.
I'm hearing. I think I actually might have just heard this on Joe Rogan, that apparently people are going to Antarctica now, like all of a sudden. I don't really. We might have turned it off then, but I heard that comment. Do you know why? Like, apparently there's a lot of people going there now.
It's a pretty big tourist thing to do. Like right now, like a whole bunch of I don't know, maybe me and my wife are part of the problem with like promoting all these like different places to travel. But yeah, a ton of different YouTubers are like going to Antarctica right now. So that's probably a big push for a whole bunch of other people to go as well. So yeah, it's becoming a really popular thing, and you know, we would have liked to do it when it's not so popular. I'm sure it would have been a little bit cheaper then, maybe. Yeah. Maybe it would have been less people, but you know, yeah. So a ton of people want to go just to say that they've been to all 7 continents or even just Antarctica.
Makes sense. Yeah, I can imagine, you know, and I'm sure you guys will definitely do it. But really, there's no real, I mean, is there a way to do points and miles to get there?
Well, of course, yeah, the flight, because you got to fly all the way down to Argentina, or yes, you could fly to Chile too and then go over. But most of like the cruises, they leave from like the southernmost point in Argentina, and then you take off for Antarctica on a cruise. And so, of course, you can pay points for the flight and then your hotel in Argentina. But on the cruise, the best thing that I would think of is, you know, use like your Venture X, and then just use what's it called? It's not called Travel Eraser anymore. It's called something else. But yeah, you basically just pay 1 cent per point to get that charge taken off of your account. But you would need a lot of Capital One miles for that. Antarctica cruises are expensive.
Are they really?
Yeah, that's like one of the most expensive things I mean, it is the most expensive thing we've tried to do. It's more expensive than the safari in Kenya.
How much is it? Do you know, around about?
It can easily be like $10,000 a person.
Whoa!
But we're benefiting a little bit because we're self-employed. We're like, okay, our schedule's a lot more flexible than most people. So our plan is to just try to look for very last minute deals, because I mean, we're not paying $10,000 a person now. My YouTube channel's not doing that well. So we're not paying $10,000, but maybe we could pay $5,000 a person, maybe. Hopefully it's less. It's a once in a lifetime experience, so we're willing to spend the money, and hopefully we can get a really good deal. Otherwise, we're probably not going if we don't get a deal.
Oh no, gotta go. We gotta start a fund. Let's get them on. You know, I don't even know what kind of classes they're on cruise ships, but get them business class, whatever you call it. I don't even know. Actually, funny. Richie mentioned, he says he wonders if the ice cream machine at the Antarctica McDonald's is broken. That is the best question, to be honest.
It's pretty cold there. Maybe they'll just make the ice cream from snow, or
yeah, they're just like, let me get it out back or something. Yeah. And actually, Filmo wanted to say McDonald's in Kenya is fire.
Maybe.
Kenya McDonald's. Oh my God, that's a great. You gotta make that video.
I'll try to have some McDonald's in Kenya.
Oh, that'd be so funny. I I wanted to ask too on on the topic of going to Africa, which I know is a continent, MR, and then all the other countries and whatnot. What have you ever had, through all these travel experiences? Have you ever had any like dangerous situations that you guys kind of ran into from all these countries?
To be honest, not really. Nothing that's really. I'm trying to think because there actually was something pretty recently that we're like kind of sketched out by, but I don't even remember what it was, so it couldn't have been too bad. Like I would say the sketchiest place that we've ever traveled, and my wife would agree on this one, would be Paris. There's I don't want to bag on Paris too much because I know a ton of people want to go to
You
Paris.
might be the second person. I think I think two other people on this, on the live stream may have said that they had close calls in Paris too. So you're not alone, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, Paris is like the most popular place to travel, and it's nice. Like the food's great, the architecture, love staring at it. Like it's a fun place to be, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, right now it seems like it's a pretty dangerous place. There's, I don't want to speak to every situation, but I'll just speak to my personal experience. There's a lot of scams going on, like with tourists. People will pretend to be deaf, and then they'll come up with a clipboard, say like, "Can you sign your signature on this petition to like help out like deaf people so that we can get more funding stuff?" Like, well, who doesn't want to help out deaf people? Of course I'll sign that, but there's so many people doing it. It's a scam that if they distract you by you filling out this form, and I guess you're distracted enough that somebody comes from behind you and pickpockets you and stuff like that. And that's some of like the minor stuff. Like I like people, like 10 different people came up to us in the 4 days we were in Paris. Like 10 different people came up to us doing that.
Wow.
I watched somebody like walk by us, and then I followed him as he was like walking past, and we're just out in the open. We weren't like on a sketchy road or anything like that. And I watched him, and he was watching us, and he was thinking about pickpocketing us. I could tell in his eyes. And then another time when it was very close to, we almost got pickpocketed. So,
Damn.
and so it's just, Paris is probably like the place where like, yeah, I feel the most uncomfortable. I don't know. I didn't have a great experience. I know a ton of people have great experiences in Paris and they say they love it. We did not.
Gotcha. It's good to know. I'm always very wary of any places, that I'm going to. Yeah, I was scared to go to DC. I was like, what the hell's going to happen here? But you never know. It's good to hear all those experiences. And it's pretty crazy. Like out of all the travel you guys have done, that's kind of the worst that's maybe happened. It's good to know.
Yeah, and I don't know. I do want to say this, but I want to try to be nice about it. There are some places that we travel like within the U.S. and we feel a little bit like unsafe. We're like, we wouldn't really feel this way in a lot of other places. And I love the United States. Like I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be living here. I'm so happy that I was born here. Like no complaints at all. But it's just as far as like going to do some tourist things in U.S. cities, it's like, well, it makes sense. People are trying to maybe take money from you or something like that. So you just got to be careful. And then in other countries, it's not like, oh, you don't, whatever, like carefree. Like you still got to maybe watch yourself. But yeah, a lot of times we feel like perfectly fine.
Interesting, for sure. Luke's Points of Miles is here, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob is legit. Let's go, baby. You got the stamp of approval now. Let's go.
Yeah, there we
go. And I also wanted to mention, freaking Gabe comes in at the perfect time every single time, 4:20 p.m. Hoping I can go paranormal investigating in Antarctica someday. Yeah, man. Let's do it together. Let's use your ghost business, leverage that, get us to Antarctica with, pay $5,000, $10,000 a ticket on the cruise, and we'll do it. I'll do it with you. That would be funny. David Williams says Amsterdam is bad at night.
Yeah, I could see that.
Interesting. Mar says, I live in Chicago. It's way more dangerous than when I was in Tunisia, Romania, and India. I remember when you were there, MR.
Yeah, Romania was great, by the way. Like, yeah,
That's right. You were there, Bucharest, right?
Yeah, Bucharest, and then like 2 other cities too. Actually, 3 because we went back to Romania because we loved it so much. Yeah, Romania. People feel like they're a little more rough around the edges than in other European countries, but I mean, it's not like that made us feel unsafe. It actually made us feel maybe a little bit more comfortable because people were like, you know, like in some European countries, people are like all dressed really nice and they're like really proper, and then you go to Romania and people are just like hanging out. It kind of feels like, you know, like the United States is a little bit more laid back than a lot of those countries that we would travel to, and then Romania kind of felt like, oh, maybe kind of do things the same way.
Makes sense. I'm laughing because Philmo said U.S. is definitely more dangerous, but that's the price you pay for all these McDonald's. That's our tax. That's our tax. Because we have so many great McDonald's here, it has to be unsafe. That's it. It's just it's the only way. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's so funny. Luke said I was in Romania in the 90s. Holy smokes. I'm guessing in a bad way. I'm assuming.
I don't know.
And let me see. Kevin Nywan says, did both you wear Target for Amex welcome bonus? I did on Amex Platinum. I got 175K MR points welcome bonus. No, sir, I did not get targeted. I got like 4 years ago, and I got 60K. And it was horrible. It was sad. What did you get? When did you get your platinum?
I got my platinum. So this was after we were, my wife and I were traveling for like almost a year at this point, and pretty much like so many different airports. I remember specifically this one in Belgium. There was just a giant advertisement for the Amex Platinum card. I don't know why it was in Belgium, but I don't know. But it was the Amex Platinum card, and my wife looked at that and was like, "When are we getting a card like that?" You know, because we've had a bunch of no annual fee cards before it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "We can't afford that. That's $695 annual fee. Like, why would we pay that?" And then I thought about it a little bit, watched a few more YouTube videos, and I'm like, all right, I'm convinced. Yeah, we travel enough. It's worth it. So, but we actually got targeted through the mail, and it was a mailer, and it said 150,000 points.
Whoa!
And I'm like,
damn.
At this point, I was like, I don't know a lot about miles and points. You know, I was still doing research in the introductory stages, but I knew that 150,000 was a lot of points, and I knew that the regular offer was lower than that. And I'm like, I just feel like this was the right time to apply.
Oh yeah,
150,000.
That's basically, well, up until this 175K, offer emerged. That's record high. So that's awesome. That's really good. Yeah. I also wanted to ask, when you were, because I wanted to go back to what your flight that you have coming up to Kenya, and I just was wondering how you are doing that. I guess from the beginning with points and miles. Like, what miles are you using for that? Was it Ethiopia Air? How are you doing that?
Yeah, Ethiopian Air. So yeah, eventually I'll make a video about this. But yeah, of course, we're flying Ethiopian Airlines from Toronto to Ethiopia and layover and then to Kenya. So it's all on Ethiopian Airlines. I don't believe you can transfer points like Chase, Amex, Capital One to Ethiopian, but they are in the Star Alliance, and so we're able to book that flight on like websites like United, Avianca Life Miles, Air Canada Aeroplan. So we found 2 business class seats on Air Canada for 90,000 miles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was 90,000 per seat.
Okay.
And so, but we booked it months ago, so I think there was also a 25% transfer bonus going on. I think it was from Chase, and so we ended up paying. I mean, it was 180,000. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was 180,000 Air Canada points, but we only had to transfer over 150,000 Chase points. It was something close to that, and so we figured it. I mean, yeah, it looks great, and it's 13 hours continuously in one business class. Like that seems pretty great. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And then what about for the so I guess so business class on that flight, did you research at all like what you'll get and how it looks and everything on Ethiopian Air?
We knew that there wasn't a ton of options to get all the way to Kenya with just like one layover.
Hmm.
And so I did know that there were other opportunities, like maybe fly Air France. I think that one would work.
Huh.
But honestly, like we don't really care about the food that much. We just need a lie flat seat, and I think we're good to go. Like I said at the beginning of this live stream, it's like we really like don't care
Yeah.
about luxury, like as far as like what other people on YouTube like talk about as luxury, which is like, you know, more power to those people, because, you know, like why not try to go all out? But for us, it's like we're used to sitting in the back of the plane in economy for 13 hours in a row. Like we're used to that.
Mm-hmm.
We got used to that because that's how we started traveling. And so we have a lie flat seat. I don't know. I don't really care about the food that much. I mean, I care about it, but either way, it's going to be great. The seat's probably going to be great. Like, so it's fine. We'll take it.
I see. And then before let me ask you too, before I say my next thing, the hotel that you booked out there, what, is that anything special at all?
It is special, but unfortunately, we did not use points for it.
Oh.
It's because it's in the middle of what they call it, the game reserve. And so that's where all the animals are hanging out. Game reserve might be the wrong phrase, but it's where all the animals are hanging out. That's where you do the safari. So that's where your luxury tent is that we're staying
Nice.
out there.
Wow.
And so there's very few options to safari in Kenya on points. I know that there's a Marriott hotel out there, very, very expensive on points. I mean, technically we do have enough points to do that, but we wouldn't, because that would blow our whole points balance. And so, yeah, we had to pay cash for it, but it's fine because it's a once in a lifetime experience that hopefully we get to do more than once in a lifetime. Absolutely.
So it really seems to me that, yeah, what you're saying from the beginning and now really rings true. It's like you're not necessarily worried about, I guess what one would call the destination of, you know, maybe the hotel or even just like a really nice, you know, luxury flight or something like that. But you guys seem to really, just care way more about the area that you're going to and all the things you'll be able to do there, above all else. It seems like. And is that true? You would say?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, that's what we would naturally lean towards. And then even more so because we do have that other YouTube channel that we film videos about, like trying to do these unique experiences in these different countries. So it's like we would already lean towards doing that, not caring that much about the hotel and focusing on the activities. But now that we have to film videos about doing those activities, well, even more so now that it's like, hey, we could film videos about a cool hotel, but the activities, I think more people care about that. Unless you're in the points and miles space, then you do care about the hotel. And then that's something I'm trying to bring a little bit more to this channel, Jacob's Points of Profit, when we stay in a nice place.
Makes sense. And I love some of the videos you've done. Don't know. I don't think I actually, are these from there? No, that's the other thing. But, I was wondering, because some of the videos you've done that I really liked is, well, you do like, which I don't think I've seen anyone word it this way, but like everyone has a watch me apply, but you have watch me redeem, which I thought, is very unique. So you actually go through the process on, whatever, it's flight or hotel, who knows. And I like that you do your first impressions of this particular, I think you did a Hyatt Place. You did like an IHG, I think it was the Hotel Indigo, I'm forgetting where. But I like that you do that, you show firsthand impressions, literally just of that hotel. For a lot of folks who, it might just seem like common knowledge, like, oh yeah, high place is that, but like a lot of people haven't. You know, I didn't stay at my first high place until I guess a year and a half ago. You know, you don't know what to expect. You know, and you know some things have certain reputations and whatnot. So it's good to definitely see. I was wondering too for you when you're like for like even for example this trip that you have coming up, how much planning do you do prior to before actually even getting on that flight? Like, do you go on, I don't know, Google Maps and see what's in the area? Like, how do you find out what you're going to do while you're there, when you're there?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'll always promote watching YouTube videos about the place. I mean, I'm a YouTuber. I love when people watch videos on YouTube. So I try to support other YouTubers in that way. It's just like I want to find out, and I actually want to see the thing that I might want to do. Is like it's just right there in front of my screen. Oh, okay, that looks cool. I'll do that. So it's a lot of YouTube research. My wife does a great job of that, even more so than me, in finding out like what to do in each place. Uh, and so there's that. I definitely do the Google Maps route of like trying to find restaurants around the hotel or like where's the train station, where's the bus station, like in relation to the hotel or the activity, like things like that, just to make sure. Because I mean, sometimes you rule out a place because it's just like feels like it might be just too difficult logistically to like get around or whatnot. So yeah, I mean the research, YouTube, Google Maps, like all that stuff. We spend quite a bit of time before like researching before making the decision where to go because it's our job. It's basically our job to like try to do the coolest thing that we can and film a video about it. So I mean, yeah, a lot of research goes into it, but a lot of times it was last minute. Up until recently, we've been trying to do like cool things like go to safari in Kenya. Okay, well that takes a lot more like planning ahead of time to make sure that we actually have the budget to do it, and also like we want to do like the safari that we really want to do and stuff. So we have been spacing out. Okay, now maybe we'll like start planning months out when like beforehand maybe we were like, okay, maybe 1 month out we would like look for stuff.
Because and I'm kind of asking this more selfishly just to kind of get your ideas on it. Like, so I guess because we're similar space where you're going somewhere and also planning to film. Do you section off like on your I don't know, notes or your calendar, like, okay, between these hours we're going to be going to this place, filming this type of thing, and then that will relate to this next thing at 12 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock we're going to do safari? And like, do you section things off based on time, or is it just like, okay, one day we're doing this thing and then everything else is free after that? Like, how do you section off your time, you think?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really like to plan it out like down to the hour, because we want to be able to be free to do what we want. If we like, if I'm just looking on my phone on Google Maps and I'm like, oh, we're right next to this thing, like let's just do that and stuff like that. So we're like we have a plan when we wake up. We're like, okay, we're gonna do this one thing. That's gonna be the main event for today. Let's do that. And there's like maybe there's some smaller things in there, like okay, what restaurant we're going to and stuff like that. So
makes sense. And actually, Don Kim has an interesting question. He says, is the next move to have travel plans and videos based on food, like Michelin-based restaurants? Travel and restaurants often pair well together, he says. Is there a food channel? Is this Jacob Jenny do food? Is that what we were doing now?
I mean, we already have 3 YouTube channels right now, so I don't know.
3? You have 3 channels?
Yeah. There's a channel I have out there. Okay, well, technically it's more than 3, but 3 that are making money on YouTube right now.
Oh my God! What?
There's another one. It's called. Okay, so it used to just be my name, Jacob Warren, but I changed that because eventually maybe I want to steal that for this channel. It's called Phoenix Deliveries as of this moment, and so
there's another one.
Was that?
I'm sorry, not to cut you, but there's another one. That's what I thought you meant. One outside of that one.
What's that? No. Wait. So there's Jacob's Points and Profit. There's Jacob and Jenny Travel, and then Phoenix Deliveries.
Gotcha.
So
And then, sorry, not to cut you off. What is Phoenix Deliveries?
so Phoenix Deliveries, I started that when I was just doing like side gigs, trying to make extra money. I originally wanted to turn that into like the kind of what I'm doing now a little bit. Just like I was really interested in personal finance, and the direction I took with that channel at the beginning was, well, I'm making some extra money. I'm going to my 9 to 5 job, and then I'm coming home at 5 p.m. and then I'm gonna go deliver food for like 2 or 3 hours on DoorDash or Uber Eats, and I'm gonna make some extra money there. And I was just basically vlogging my experiences on there. Um, but that one I might not be posting on there anymore because, as our revenue from our businesses are adding up, hopefully I don't have to rely on any income from food delivery driving. And it's like, well, why would I want to make videos about something that I don't even really want to do when all I want to do is focus on posting videos to this channel and travel videos around the world. So I have kind of stopped that.
It's more cohesive anyway. I mean, the credit cards to the traveling, like, the back and forth that you have between those two. The other one's like, you built it up. I think you have like 15K, so it's pretty good. And you probably have money coming in just from, bigger videos that you've done for sure. But I could see that, that makes sense.
Unfortunately, it's not making like that much money.
Really?
And I'd have to say that for that channel and our travel channel, like we don't make a ton of money, which is, it's just,
Really?
yeah. I mean, a lot of people, some people are like surprised by that, and other people are surprised that we're making any money on YouTube because they don't understand how like people click on our videos and you make some money. So from the ads that you watch. And so like YouTube decided that on that delivery driver channel that they thought that I was like purchasing bots to watch on my channel, and they thought that I was trying to make extra money and inflate my views when I was doing absolutely nothing like that, because I don't even know how I would do that. How to do that.
Everybody got hit with that. Is that the invalid traffic thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody got hit with that. So
yeah, and unfortunately, that happened like a year ago, and it still has not returned to normal. So, unfortunately, I'm not really making money on there, and that's kind of the reason why I stopped posting too. It's like, well, if I'm like spending a ton of time editing these videos and putting them out there, and then I'm barely making any money from it, okay, well, focus on other things.
Hell yeah. No, definitely. Especially with how much it probably was cut, it's like, like you might have said, like working more money just by doing the deliveries than the videos. So I'll just do more deliveries. Like, why would I do that? Makes sense.
Right.
So it's really interesting. So wait, I'm not asking you specific numbers, but as far as like money that you're making per view, I'm guessing credit cards are more than the travel by like, is it a lot? Like the difference in RPM?
It's a lot. It's
really?
A lot different. I mean,
I never would have thought
like
that.
We don't have to talk about specific numbers, but between me and you, like we know how much we're making on ads and stuff like that, because we're getting advertisers like Chase and American Express and Jennifer Gardner on Capital One and stuff like that. And so those banks are willing to pay a lot more than if somebody's watching a video from Thailand and they're getting served a Thailand company on their ads. And so the money that the ad revenue we make on this channel is significantly more per view than on our travel channel.
Wow. And I actually never, and when you put it that way, it makes a lot of sense. Just who has, who's got the advertising dollars? I guess Korea doesn't have advertising dollars to throw at you. Maybe
I guess not. We kind of expected that maybe they would, but not really.
That's a good point. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. That's good to know. Keith actually says Jacob's deliveries in overseas locations. I'd watch. Hey, man. Just put everything together. Yeah, that would be funny. Could you even do that? Do they have like Uber Eats or DoorDash or Grubhub and other? They do, right?
Oh, they do, and it's way cheaper than here in most countries. you know, like we're having to do a Grubhub pickup to spend our $10 credit, you know, on our gold cards. But $10 can get you a lot more than a tiny little like side of French fries for pickup.
That's right.
Like we were in the Philippines recently, and we're like, we can order 2 extra large pizzas to get delivered to our hotel room and like a side of breadsticks. We get that for like $13.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
That should be a video. Like, this is why, you know, like some credit. Uber Eats is worth Amex Gold Card, you know, it's worth it or something. Wow. That's crazy. $13, 2 large pizzas and some garlic, whatever. Oh man.
That might be an exception because it's the Philippines. Yeah. There's a lot of things are more affordable there for US dollars, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, but then you'll have people say like, well, you wouldn't. I'm valuing that pizza based on, you know, New York, and that's actually $40. Actually, it's better value. Discount that against the annual fee. Oh, that's ridiculous. Amazing Dollar Man said it would be cool to transition the side gig channel to review side hustles that aspiring travelers can do to fund their trips. That's interesting.
Good idea. It's a good idea for sure.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I've been thinking about doing like I need to turn that channel into something. If I'm not gonna be delivering food anymore, well, I still am right now, but just to make some extra money. But hopefully soon I won't have to, and then I'll have to turn that channel into either just let it go off into the sunset and never post again, or I'll have to turn it into something else.
Yeah, I wonder. But I'm guessing like, will you do that? Did you mention like when he talked about like the food section? Would you make a separate thing for that, or would you just intertwine it with your normal travel stuff?
I think we would just put it on our normal like travel channel. There are some people that I know of that they do like separate channels for travel and for food, but I mean, a lot of people like watching food videos anyway. So if we just put it on our main channel, like it's usually one of our better performing videos anyway. So, like,
interesting.
Just makes sense. I'll keep it on that one.
Gotcha. And this is now going into my YouTube mind, but if you were to restart your channels knowing everything you know now, would you have put everything under the umbrella of like Jacob's Points and Profit, and would you have done all the same travel videos and just put it under one channel and kind of kept doing that? No. Or you still like the separate?
Wait, yeah. I mean, at least like as much as even if people say they would watch travel videos and they would watch credit card videos, no, they wouldn't really, because it's just better to keep them separate, just because like people are coming to your YouTube channel for one thing specifically, and they are expecting to get that one thing. They click on Anthony Venture's channel so that they can watch you talking in your car with your microphone. And if you're not doing that, people are like, well, hold on, what's going on here? And then they might stop watching because it's something different. So
interesting. Good to know. Because as I'm starting to travel more, I'm like, I've had those thoughts, and I kind of just like the idea of having one umbrella, and like how I did the Waldorf video, or the $50 hotel. I like the idea of just like kind of mixing it all together, but I could see what you're saying, like the merit of. But then again, a lot of it is more focused on the numbers in the front half. You guys on the other channel are mostly just the experience, and like I don't think do you do any numbers at all? Like, oh, here's how we booked it, or it's just no, we're here.
We try to. We try to go into the numbers a little bit, but really, like, to be honest, like, just to like nobody cares. on that channel. They don't care about the points and miles over there. I mean, they're watching to be entertained. It's a lot different style of video. And so, but if I try to do an only entertainment style video on my channel, Jacob's Points and Profit, it probably would do terrible, even though it would do great on the other channel, just because people are expecting one thing when they're watching your videos. They see your little face pop up on the YouTube home screen, and they're like, okay, in their mind, they're like, I know what to expect. I'm going to click on it if I like them and stuff like that. But what with you're doing with like the Waldorf Astoria, that was a really cool video. I mean,
Thanks, man.
I watched the whole like 30-minute video.
It was
And
long, yeah.
that was, I mean, it was great. I loved it. And, but also your video is different than how like our travel videos would be, because I mean, you did travel somewhere and you did vlog the experience, you know, but you also talked plenty about like points and stuff like that. And so like you're still talking to your normal audience. You're still talking to the people that subscribe to you for a reason. And so like I'd say you should definitely talk about, you know, points and miles and credit card points in those travel videos, because that's what people will click on the video for. And just don't make something that's like completely travel focused and you don't even mention credit cards once.
Gotcha. Well, here's what I did. Here's my one day in 24 hours in Greenville, South Carolina. Something like that. Gotcha. Well, thank you for that advice. Definitely. That makes a lot of sense for me. I had a couple other things that I was wondering about, because a lot of people lately have been talking a lot about, I guess, the pitfalls and the downsides of travel insurances on certain credit cards. And with you guys traveling so much, do you purchase like second, or I guess separate or private travel insurance, or do you rely on cards at all?
This may come back to bite us at some point, but I don't really care about travel insurance that much. I mean, I think if I was older, like retirement age, and I was traveling, I'd probably want to purchase some additional travel insurance, or make sure I'm using the correct credit cards with those like yeah, like health coverage, and even like with trip cancellation and interruption, like stuff like that. But honestly, like we used to purchase travel insurance, and maybe we actually will. Maybe we will going into Kenya, because you know there's like malaria and stuff like that there. So yeah, maybe we want to think about that. But I honestly, I just maybe that's a bad decision, and maybe I'm not telling anybody they should do the exact same thing, because but like with us, we would have to purchase a lot of
Yeah.
secondary travel insurance, because we're traveling so much. Like, it would add up a lot, and of course, you know, one bad accident and you're really paying for it. But that's why, like, I mean, I have credit cards that have those protections, at least a little bit. So hopefully I use the right card to make that purchase.
Right.
And I'm using like
That's right.
5-6 different cards for all different parts of the trip anyway. So hopefully one of them will protect us if we really need it. But I really don't think about it too much.
Gotcha.
Just getting the welcome offers.
Makes sense to fund the trips and everything. Yeah. And someone actually asked earlier, reminded me, I guess knowing everything you know now, what cards have been the most reliable for you while you're traveling to all these different countries? I think someone mentioned like, oh, was Amex reliable at all? Or, you know, what do you kind of carry with you?
The Amex not being accepted internationally, it's a little bit overblown. That it's completely true that if you're traveling internationally, you absolutely have to carry a Visa or a MasterCard, and maybe at least one of each. You absolutely have to do that, because Amex is not going to be accepted everywhere. You need to know that. But when I'm traveling a lot of these countries that I'm like, oh, this isn't like they're not developed that much. Like, they probably don't have technology. They probably don't like accepting Amex. And those are the countries that surprise me the most. It's like, oh, Amex tap to pay every single time. Let's go. Let's work on this welcome offer with this Amex card I just signed up for. Oh, right. Tap to pay like every single time. And it's like, wow, this is nuts. So I think it's definitely going to be hit or miss. Amex is not going to be accepted everywhere. Know that for a fact. Get a Visa or MasterCard. But like the countries that you don't think will accept Amex, maybe they will. And then you're fine.
Gotcha.
For the whole trip. Gotcha.
Good to know. Good to know for sure. Also, I think probably one of my last things I wanted to ask you personally is so I guess with on the topic of, I guess, both you guys canceling your jobs and whatnot, how have you guys handled health insurance, if you have at all? Because that's something I have to kind of now think about. And I haven't really done the research yet, so I'm wondering, did you guys do anything with that?
Health insurance, yeah. I mean, my wife's way more of an expert on it than I am. You know,
Gotcha.
she used to work at a doctor's office and all that.
Oh, wow.
And so she stays on top of it way more than I do. But health insurance is, I mean, it's not going to cover you unless you get like an international plan. It's not going to cover you when you're traveling internationally, which is what we're doing for months and months out of the year. So we just, I mean, we don't really have like a great plan or anything like that. Just something to like get us by while we're in the U.S. I mean, like, and I'll go back to like the whole like credit card protection and stuff. Like if I was older, if I was in my 50s, 60s, 70s, I would definitely want great health insurance, especially if we're traveling as much as we do. But I mean, we're both generally healthy. We don't really have to get too many medications for anything. So, you know, we don't have a great health plan, and it seems to be fine so far.
Got it. Okay, good to know. That's kind of how we're running right now. I'm just like, you know, more time goes by, no health insurance. So, you know, people tell you got to have it, you know, and I understand why. It's, you know, it's one of those things I think you just put off. You know, in your situation, that I never really thought about that. That's interesting. If those things won't cover you while you're traveling, you know, abroad, and if you're abroad, you know, half the year or whatever it is, or more, then it would make sense. You know, that it wouldn't be as worth it. You know, in those cases, unless you have an international plan. And I guess the last thing I wanted to ask was, you know, I thought it was really inspiring. You know, hearing and reading, you know, learning about your story from your videos, and you know, deciding to, like I just said, quit your jobs and kind of go through what your passion was. It seemed like something was pulling you to this direction, to where you are now, and having YouTube as the vehicle to be able to take you where you want to go. I guess I just wanted to ask, in general, has YouTube and you following your passions like completely changed your life? Like, has it been an incredibly positive experience since you've done all of this?
Yeah, it absolutely like has, and we are in a completely different place now than we could have ever dreamed about, I guess. Like when we got married like 5 years ago. And so like we just thought, like my wife and I were just gonna work our corporate jobs or whatever and then we're just gonna, you know, just do the normal thing of trying to be smart with our finances and, you know, make sure we invest in our Roth IRA and all that stuff. And well, I mean, we do that now, but we're just like in a completely different place, like traveling the world and being self-employed. I honestly didn't think that I was cut out to be a business owner. And even still now, I'm like, oh no, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure on you to figure out how you're going to make money. And we're still not, you know, doing great or anything like that. Like we still need to work really hard to try to get by and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a completely different life than we thought we would be living. And we both love it. And as long as we can keep getting some income to come in every single month, we'll be all right.
Well, I think that's amazing, man, and I'm happy you were, you know, open and sharing your story today with me and everybody, you know, watching. Like I said, I think it's super inspiring, and I'm, you know, hoping nothing but just growth. You know, Jacob and Jenny, you know, get that 200K, get points and profit to 10K, and then, you know, beyond. And I'm just really excited for where literally you're going to go with not just channels, but in life and journeys in all of the countries. So thank you for being here, man, and sharing all that with us today.
Yeah, it's been a huge pleasure just being on. This is great getting to talk with you and everyone in the chat too. Like this has been so great.
And sorry everybody in the chat who I've I've been trying to be as much as possible, active as possible, but I just got really delved deep into his story, and I'm really excited about it. Actually, Traveling on Everyday Spend he came in high. He said, "Congratulations on being able to follow your dream. Amazing. And I want to say special thanks again to Xavier. Not just once, but also twice. Craziness. Appreciate you, Xavier, and I will see you Tuesday for sure on that live. John R., always coming in. Appreciate you, my man. He was on last week. Jazzy, appreciate you with the sticker. Keith, the turkey burgers. and actually giving me a box of turkey burgers. That's really amazing. And then Amazing Dollar Man for the turkey burgers. Too much turkey burgers. Oh my god. But thank you very much. And for everybody who wants to go subscribe, Keith put it right there. Go subscribe to Jacob's Points and Profit. I'll leave it in the VOD after this ends. And just thank you all for being here today and hanging out with us. So thank you, Jacob, as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, everybody.